What if the most impactful stories in the Bible weren't the ones we've heard a thousand times? What if the true heroes were the ones who never made it to the front page, but whose actions shaped the course of history just the same? Today, we're diving into the Bible's lesser-known tales, the unsung heroes whose bravery, faith, and unwavering resolve often get overshadowed by the more famous names. Their stories might not always be celebrated, but they are, without a doubt, the foundation of some of the most powerful moments in Scripture. So, let's step into their shoes and rediscover these forgotten champions of faith. The Faith of Rahab. Let's start with Rahab, a name you might recognize, but not always for the right reasons. A prostitute in the city of Jericho, Rahab's life was anything but ordinary. But it was her extraordinary faith in the face of unimaginable risk that made her a hero. When Israel's spies came to Jericho, it was Rahab who hid them from the king's soldiers, risking her life to protect the men of God. Her actions weren't about fame or reward, they were about protecting the promise of the Lord. In the end, Rahab's faith led to the salvation of her entire family, and she became one of the few women mentioned in the genealogy of Jesus. Imagine that. A woman who had been forgotten by society became one of the great ancestors of Christ himself. Rahab wasn't celebrated in her time, but her bravery made her a timeless hero. The loyalty of Jonathan. Next, we turn to Jonathan, the son of King Saul. We often think of Jonathan as the sidekick, the friend to David, the future king. But Jonathan was more than that. He was a man of incredible loyalty and courage. While his father Saul's jealousy drove him to try and kill David, Jonathan defied his own father and risked everything to protect the one who would become Israel's greatest king. Jonathan's bond with David was built on trust, and his faith in God's plan for David was unshakable. Jonathan knew that even though he was heir to the throne, God's will for David was greater. In a world driven by power and lineage, Jonathan's selflessness stood out as a powerful testament to loyalty and faith. The courage of Deborah. Let's now talk about Deborah, one of the Bible's most overlooked leaders. She wasn't a warrior, but she was the prophetess and judge of Israel. At a time when women were often sidelined, Deborah stood at the center of Israel's faith and governance. When Israel faced oppression from the Canaanite king Jabin, it was Deborah who called upon Barak to lead the army. But it wasn't just Deborah's prophetic voice that mattered. It was her wisdom, her ability to see God's will and guide others with unshakable courage. She didn't just talk the talk, she led from the front, assuring Israel's victory and restoring peace. Deborah's leadership reminds us that greatness doesn't always come in the form we expect. Sometimes, the hero is the quiet leader, standing strong in a storm, guiding others with wisdom and faith. The generosity of the widow's mite. In Mark 12:41-44, we meet an unsung hero in the most unlikely of places. The temple treasury, a poor widow, unnoticed by the crowds, drops 2 small coins into the offering. Her gift was worth almost nothing in monetary terms, but Jesus said it was worth everything. This widow gave everything she had, her whole livelihood, out of faith. She didn't have wealth or status, but her heart was pure, and her trust in God's provision was unwavering. Jesus saw in her a faith that transcended material value and revealed a deeper truth. It's not how much you give, but how much of yourself you give in faith. In a world where success is measured by what we have, this widow reminds us that true heroism is found in selflessness and trust. The perseverance of Job. Finally, let's look at Job. His name has become synonymous with suffering, but his story is one of ultimate perseverance. Job lost everything, his wealth, his health, and his family. Yet, in the face of unimaginable loss, Job refused to curse God. He questioned, he mourned, but he never abandoned his faith. Job's story teaches us that even in the darkest moments, there is hope. His faith was tested, but in the end, his perseverance was rewarded. Job's life is a testament to endurance and unwavering faith in the face of adversity. These stories are more than just forgotten chapters of the Bible. They are lessons in faith, bravery, loyalty, and perseverance. These unsung heroes remind us that sometimes, the greatest impact comes from the quiet actions, the uncelebrated decisions, and the unwavering trust in God's plan. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.